Pivot One Up.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Back.
Here we are with episode 5
Cinco.
of the TOR Rezcovery podcast. Another big shout out to Hawk and the staff over here at Shane Arapaho Productions. You know, none of this would be possible without them. So thank you again for having us, allowing us to give a little bit of our thoughts, experience, a little bit of our hope, for our communities, and always a pleasure. Go around the room, introduce ourselves.
I'm Darian Trabata. I'm the tour director.
Domingo Whiteman. I'm the tour prevention admin.
Oh.
Shane Willimon. I'm a guest and haven't been invited back. It went well.
Carmelo Ravelis, tour case manager.
And I am Barry Botone. I am the peer recovery support specialist for the TOR project. And we are back again, episode 5. I guess no one really went home and changed, so here we are again.
I don't even look the same.
But, killing two birds with one stone today. So,
Yeah, saving on gas.
3 little birds.
yeah. I think that's one of the great things about our program is we see the opportunity, and we always jump on it.
Yeah.
We're always more than willing to do whatever it takes.
Yep. Deep passes.
And I think that's the amazing thing about this group of guys right here. Is that we're willing to go above and beyond whatever it takes. They said we could do 2 podcasts today. If I would have known that, I would have brought an extra shirt. But, that's all right.
Stop him.
Yeah, they ain't gonna stop me. I've been way worse in one set of clothes for a lot longer.
yeah.
There you go. Say it.
Boom.
So, it's a good day. It's a good day for 2 podcasts, and I just appreciate the opportunity. So, aho, Hawk, appreciate the opportunity. Let's jump right into this. Domingo, would you share the Elder's Meditation for Friday?
Yes. Thank you for that. Today is Lame Deer Lakota. It says, what you see with your eyes shut is what counts. Another whole world opens up when we close our eyes and calm our mind. Be still and know. Be still and hear. Be still and see. Be still and feel. Inside every person is a small voice. Sometimes it is necessary to close our eyes to shut down our perception in order to see. Try this occasionally. When you are talking to your child or spouse, close your eyes and listen to them. Listen to the tone of their voice. Listen to their excitement. Listen to their pain. Listen. Great Spirit, today, let me hear what really counts.
Oh.
Now, when you tell them, when you talk to them, be like, I'm not falling asleep, I'm listening.
Yeah. Domingo every meeting.
Yeah. Well, that could go a number of ways, and I would like to hear everybody's take on, that meditation today, because that can apply to anybody. What that means to me when I heard that was, do you listen with your ears or with your heart? Which ones are you listening with? If I just listen with my ears, it's got to go through my brain, and, my brain knows how to distort everything. If I listen with my heart, love always wins. No matter what, love always wins when I listen with my heart. And, through my process, I've learned that, what really is going on in my life is whenever I close my eyes and I see, depending on what I'm listening with, that's how things are going to be perceived to me. if my mind's cloudy, if my mind isn't processing, if I'm not accepting things for the way that they are, and I'm trying to go against everything, I'm trying to fight everything, I'm trying to, not accept anything for what it's worth. The way my mind works is I can turn that into my truth real quick. Whenever I listen with my heart, for whatever reason, my heart will not lie to me. I've been in those situations where I've continued to, I would believe somebody else's lie because it helped my lie out. However that works, and we would kind of look at each other like, yeah, you're full of it. And I'm full, we're going to ride this till the wheels fall off, It makes my lie a little bit better, So it showed me that, even through somebody else's deception, I'm willing to grasp that and hold on to that and ride with them till the wheels fall off on that, until, I couldn't lie to myself no more. I couldn't lie to anybody anymore. I couldn't even lie to myself anymore. So today I've learned to listen with my heart. Whenever I get to see my kids on the weekends, I get to see Johnny and Penelope, I try to listen with my heart, about the things that are important to them, about the things that are occurring in their life, because I don't want to, I'm not there Monday through Friday, so I don't get to be a part of their daily life, their daily routine. And man, whenever I see them, and they're both like just, one's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They want me to know every little thing that's happened in their life. And, it's very important to me today, whereas before, I would just think, oh, they're little kids, they don't really understand. Well, I didn't understand because I wasn't willing to deal with my own emotions and feelings and, whatnot, So today, listening with my heart takes on a whole different meaning because I've listened with my ears for years. And like I said, that's too close to my brain because my brain will distort everything that comes through these decorations. So I think I like the meditation. I always say that. Oh, that's a good one. I love that. But each one has a great point to it. And I get to understand that today. I get to think about that, and I think it's crazy that if somebody wants to hear what I think about something, like before, it was just, I don't even want to tell you what it was before. But, I would love to hear y'all's take on today's meditation. Carmelo, would you like to?
Mr. Robelis?
Sure. Thinking about today and then thinking about past meditations we've had, we talked about the love and fear relationship. We've talked about being true to yourself. We've talked about today's about listening, being still, and it's interesting to think about whenever it comes to actually being still because we joke about it like, okay, close your eyes and just sit there and listen. But most of the time, I'm a older guy, so I might fall asleep. Barry does fall asleep. But no, it's just like when you sit there and you think about how all of these things are connected, and you can't have a real relationship with yourself unless you love yourself. You can't have a real relationship with yourself unless you're true to yourself. You can't have a real relationship with yourself unless you're able to listen. And that's not just for others. You have to be able to listen to yourself too, because whether or not you think about it, your mind is not shutting off whenever you're sitting there trying to listen to somebody. Mm-hmm. And in order to really, truly be still, you have to know yourself in order to actually be able to listen to anybody else. And I think a lot of us battle with that because we have all these things that are going on in our mind all the time, and we think we know better than whatever it is that this person may be going through, and that turns us off from actually listening to what it is that they are going through. And I know I dealt a lot with that in my life because I sometimes think too much, and my wife makes me shut up. And shout out to Karen. Love you. No, but when I think about those situations, it's just like because I used to do it a lot. I used to, well, I'm way smarter than you are. I don't really have to listen to your story. I'm just going to tell you what it is I know. And it might even not even have anything to do with what the crap you were talking about, because all I heard was I have a problem with my business, or I have a problem with my family, or I have a problem with this. And automatically in my head, like before, it used to be like, well, I know exactly what I'm going to say to you because you've been having this problem for a long time. And it's always, and you don't ever sit there and listen. So now when I can actually sit there and listen, most of the time you can hear the tones for those of us that actually have wives. Oh, wait, that's all of us here. Sorry, Hawk. No, I'm just messing with you, man. No, but like if you actually sit there and you listen, you can hear the tones of the voice. You can hear how she's actually talking, and you can know whether you actually need to say something or you need to shut up.
Are you in trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with kids. You can actually sit there and listen to hear their excitement about whether it is just something they did or something they painted or something they colored. And it's just like if you don't meet that excitement, then as a kid you can tell they automatically go down a level because you're not meeting that same type of excitement that they have. And so you have to be willing to sit there and listen. And if you don't match the same kind of energy, then they're not going to want to talk to you anymore. They're not going to want you to listen. And that goes with anybody, not just kids, not just wives, not with just people. And sometimes I think we run into the blunder where people actually want to come and talk to us, and we listen, but we don't have any response back for them. And I know we as TOR have fallen into that trap because
all the time.
Because it's like you never ever want to say the wrong thing, but not saying anything is sometimes just as bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's being actually to be able to sit there and be still is it's a trait that a lot of people have to learn, and especially when it comes to your relationships, especially when it comes to your relationship with God, Maheo, Creator. Because if you can't sit there and listen and figure out what His plan is for your life, then everything that you're doing isn't going to mean anything. And I think that's the biggest part. So,
Wow.
Shane, would you
Thank
like
you,
to
Carmelo.
tell us your story?
Oh man, that's awesome. This is good stuff. Went and I'm like, congratulations, Shane. You listened to him the whole time, which is a practice, right?
Right.
As you were talking and talking about how important it was, I was thinking, man, I had to be like with my back up against the wall, dying of alcoholism before I ever considered learning any of this. You know, like, so I've had to come at prayer and meditation and mindfulness and quietness and stillness from a place of necessity, not virtue. You know? Some people are like, this is a really good thing. You should try it. Like, for me, it's like, I'm going to die if I don't try it. Yeah. And, you know, I've had a little practice with it. And the first thing we talked about, the first thing that I heard, it immediately brings up this story about that small, still voice. And the first time I experienced that, which today I know is a God consciousness, that and how I differentiate is because it usually only says it once, very clear, very quietly, and my ego's the opposite. It's like those birds on like Nemo, mine, like over and over, you know. And so I was about 7 years old. We lived in a little town in Elkhart, Kansas, very southwest corner of Kansas, and there was this vacant lot on the corner where we used to play, and these kids my brother's friends and some older guys had decided to dig this tunnel. And so they dug down, I don't know, big enough for a kid to get in it, a tunnel probably about 4 or 5 feet down and then straight across. And, when you're a kid, it's hard to remember dimensions, but it was quite a crawl to this little chamber that, like, they'd sit in, and they had some little magazines. You fill in the blanks. And anyway, they were down. It was,
Sports.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right. And so I knew about it, but I'd never been in there. And one day, it was on a weekend, I believe, because my brother and his buddies would just like take off on their bikes, And I was 3 years younger than my brother, so I would try to hang out, but I couldn't. But one day I tried to like pop up early and follow them, and they were ghosts. And so I think to myself, like, there's a tunnel over there. And I go in there and I'm like, hey, nothing, but I'm imagining things, man. Like, they're snickering down there. Don't tell him we're down. That kind of stuff, So here I go, bro. And I go head first into this tunnel, and I start crawling. And about, 2 or 3 crawls or whatever in there, I panic. And I freak out and I want out. And instead of like, I got to my knees. I got to like on my knees with my head down, and I was just gonna like sit up and turn around. And when I sat up, like, all of a sudden I lodged myself in the tunnel and I was stuck. And I mean, sheer panic, Nobody knows where I'm at. Everything's going through my head, like, I can't get out of here. And I hear this voice say, relax. And I just let go. Intuitively followed the instruction. And the next thing I know, like, I slipped out of the dirt and got back to my belly. And I knew that I had to crawl down to that chamber by myself, get myself stuff together, turn around, and come back up out of that tunnel. And I did, and it was like, I didn't know anything about, like, it didn't occur to me to pray, but in my heart I was screaming, help me, to something, and I've known that voice ever since. And the other part about the rest of that story is my dad's a Vietnam vet, and if you know anything about the tunnel systems of Vietnam, like it was a scary situation. And so I went home immediately crying like dirt tears. And Dad, there's a tunnel in the, what the, you mean there's a tunnel over there? He worked in an oil field, and like within, I don't know, it was a very short period of time, this guy pulls up with this trailer with a backhoe on it, and they're caving that system in, and like, they have a neighborhood meeting and like, do never do this again, But yeah, that was my first experience with like a personal experience with that voice. And I think it kind of goes hand in hand. In order to get in touch with that voice, which I think is very important, because it's never lied to me, it's always given me great instruction, guidance, direction, protection. I have to get still. And I got to slow down. What the Buddhists call the wild horses, like, are my senses, my human senses, And if they're untrained and they're undisciplined, then they're not reliable. The information that they give you may not be reliable. And so I've learned through prayer and meditation, and my wife practices quite a bit, that if I can slow down and use some breathing techniques to kind of tame the wild horses, then I can be present and hear that voice. And lastly, I got to hear my son last night talk passionately about jiu-jitsu. And he's a purple belt, and he busts his tail and teaches it too. And it was like he had a breakthrough moment in these leg locks. And don't get me lying, I can't remember what he told me. He showed me, but I got to be present for that. The same thing you're talking about. Like, it's precious to me now to be able to engage. Because with a lot of guilt and shame, I was aware for a long time that like I'm trying to be present and I can't, and it was heartbreaking, not just to me but to him. And so all those little moments are like really cool, you know. Thanks.
Amazing.
Good.
Shout out to
Amazing.
Sean Mike.
Shawn Michael Williams.
Domingo, would you like to share about the meditation?
Yeah,
Let
got
us
some
have it,
story.
bro.
I think like the kids. You got 17. I got like 10. And but having these kids, like you said, listening to them, they always want to tell you something. They'll kind of like, hey, I'm talking to him. Wait, and I'm not finished. But yeah, when they talk to me, they tell me stories, and like you said, you just listen to their tone, how they're really telling you, and listen and actually communicate back, not just listen with your ears and listen with your heart. And I think just joking with them too sometimes it helps them, like and they love it. They're always playing around, and I can tell they're catching on because they'll joke with me, they'll catch me off guard. I'm like, okay. But I think just stories like that, listening to them, that meditation kind of just listening and not falling asleep, you're listening. But yeah, I think one time after school they were like, hey, let's go to Hooters, get some drink, cherry limeade. I said, you Hooters? I was like, yeah, let's go to Hooters. And then the oldest looked at me, he's like, Tutors. Oh yeah, Tutors.
Wow.
That's what
It's a little bit of a difference.
yeah. Well, let's go to Tutors.
Dad was excited.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he already
no,
had the plan and everything.
Nah.
Booked reservations, all of it.
We'll make sure his waitress was there.
No.
I know what I'm gonna get.
Yeah. But yeah, just little thing, little stuff like that, keeps them going, and talking about being still and the story I have a little bit, my meditation, being calm and meditating. Mahale gave me a couple of visions in 2019. Kind of scared me, but I was like, is this really coming from Mahale or something else? I said, there's nobody else, ain't coming from the devil,
Yeah.
But because it kind of scared me, but I could feel it in my heart. It was like he's really talking to me, and I was like, what's gonna happen, and then pandemic hit, and I was like, well, is this really happening? Divorce hit, and it was like, wow. And I had one recently, like 2 years ago, and it told me, it like I don't know if you saw Star Wars. It was second to last. Last one they made, but when Rey was looking through her mirror through herself, that's what it felt like in my visions. I could see everywhere, but it wasn't my reflection. It was like seeing through a bright sky. But I was walking, and I was scared walking on these mirrors. I'm like, it's gonna break, but I kept walking, and a message came to me. He said, you're gonna go somewhere where you don't feel comfortable. You're scared. You're gonna be like nervous, but you will do well. You will do good. And I was like, okay, in my head as I'm walking. Wow. I said, okay. I'm like, okay. And it was just like amazing to me seeing that bright sky, and then now it makes me think of my daughter. Suda, means sky and creek. So I don't know if that was that part of it or just the whole what we're doing, our careers. Mahale, he's blessing us. So I feel like being still and listening and meditating, and he'll speak to you. He listen, and believing. So I thought I'd just share that story because it meant a lot to me. At first I was scared, but nervous, but I know he's Mahale's. I give him all the praise and glory.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'll pass it on.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
It takes some vulnerability to talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
What'd you do before the dream? So were you drinking?
Would you?
Yeah.
No.
Was you still drinking?
I went to Tutors.
Darian, is there anything you would like to?
Yeah. So
share?
I think I would focus on the being still part. It's something I struggle with a lot, like balancing work and home life. 'Cause like work life, like I do put a lot of effort into like seeing how we can improve, TOR, how we can make new relationships and everything like that, to where sometimes it'll interfere with like home life to where I can't focus on like being there with the kids. Like I will be there present, but not mentally, you know? And so that's one thing that I've struggled with, especially since I got back from this most recent deployment. Whenever, I came back and then we had, our funding issues, all this stuff. And so I was like, okay, let me like switch to like maximum overdrive for TOR. That way we, have jobs, can save lives, do all this stuff. But I didn't realize like how much it was taking it away from my home life. And then so after, kind of winding down a little bit on that, like I'm getting a little more present in, my girl's life, to where, like we can actually like play together. It actually like isn't frustrating because, like toddlers, they'll be like, all right, let's play with like some Legos. They'll dump out, 2 bags of Legos, and then they're like, all right, all done. Like, I just want to dump out the bag. And then they're like, let's go do this other thing. And I'm like, ah. And then it took me a while to realize like the Legos weren't the toy. It was like I was the toy. I'm the one that they want to like play with all these different things. And so I think it took way too long for that to click in my head. But once it did, like it's helping me on, being still, like actually like kind of putting my phone down, unless it's like, after my bedtime at 7:30, I get an idea for a tour, and I'm like, hey, let's do this. And then everybody's like, you should be asleep right now. I'm like, no, but we can do that. But yeah, so that's something that I can see from my personal life is that it's going to be an ongoing thing, being still. It's not like once you're still, it's always still. It's, the ripple effect. Like if a drop of water goes in, you're going to see all this motion, and it takes a while to
might have to settle
yeah,
again.
yeah, exactly. But that's my little input on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I like every meditation that we have. I like today's meditation. But it just gives you everybody's perception of the meditation. Everybody's got a little bit different, version of what they think it means, and I think they're all very important. It's kind of like sobriety. Of course, I got a little bit of time under my belt, but really, we just have today. In reality, we just have today. And when I go to these meetings or I meet people, they could just really actually have one day. And I want to hear how they did it. I want to hear how, what helped them come to that decision that, they don't want to use today. I love the fact that, we are getting our name out there. People are getting more familiar with what we do. And I think the most important thing is why we do it. The whole opioid, fentanyl is nothing to play with. These people don't get to learn their lesson. It could be their first time trying. And that's it. They don't get to learn their lesson. They're gone. They the changing the language from overdose. Overdose means excessive use. Changing it to poisoning. Because, if people know that it's poison, would they really try it? Or, I think that's, part of, the whole opioid thing. I don't think any other nationality was hit by it harder than the Native communities. I don't understand why that is, but instead of trying to break that down, I tend to focus not on the problem, but more on the solution. I think it's very important that people do know what fentanyl is. They do know what opioids are. You can go to the doctor and the doctor will prescribe an opioid to you. And they're very addictive. Most of those pills are very addictive. And I don't think anybody really thinks about that because it's coming from a doctor. So I think it's very important that we, educate people more. Addiction comes in many forms. it could, it doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol. It's just like, seems like nowadays it's anything excessive. One of mine today is food.
It's all of ours.
But I remember when it was drugs and alcohol. So very thankful that I don't have to go through those anymore. But
One thing at a time.
one fry at a time.
Yeah, one fry,
First things first.
Yeah.
one buffet.
But today, we got a platform. And I feel like we are using it in the right way. We are bringing awareness to our communities and letting people know. Talking to one of our coworkers the other day, we were talking about her and her son's situation, and she was just like, I don't know. She said, my son just didn't know. He wasn't aware of what could have happened to him if he tried this stuff. He wasn't aware of the educational part about fentanyl, and he just tried it one time. It was the last time, he ever got to try anything, and it's an unfortunate thing, but, our efforts are putting together other stories of people whose lives were saved by harm reduction. I think it's very important that we get it out there that harm reduction is very important to addicts. Whether it be, clean needles, whether it be Narcan, whether it's,
condoms,
condoms, Plan Bs.
Lubes.
I mean, all this stuff, it gives us a chance to plant these seeds, inside these people and let them know, like, hey, I've been exactly where you are, and I've turned my life around, and I would love to see the same thing for you, because people are going to do what they want to do regardless if we're doing it, if we're giving them the supplies, the clean supplies, or whether they're out on the street reusing stuff, they're going to do what they do regardless. And I think this harm reduction grant that we got, I think is going to be huge. I mean, just the effect that we've had so far without any money,
Yeah, just with good friends. That's all you need.
These partnerships that we've created in our communities, they've been huge for us. Big shout out to Drew. It's amazing what people can do when just given the opportunity. So one thing that I feel like, because we didn't really have a topic for this, we didn't really. They said, hey, you can do another one, so we jumped at the opportunity, like let's it ain't like we didn't bathe or something. Wearing the same clothes for
We're going for the 2.0.
Yeah. But I feel like it's important that, if given the opportunity, we're going to jump on it every time. So would anybody like to add what I just...
I think everything we do, the harm reduction grant and our Narcan, the vending machines at the casinos, and then our Talkspace telehealth, everything we, that's what one of the big things we offer too for online therapists for our tribal members and our other spouse, our casino workers, because they go through stuff too, or our ICW social workers, shout out to them, their hard work for they do for our Native kids, our tribal members, and the telehealth, it's there. It's easy sign up, so if you need help, just contact us on our Facebook page or emails. And it's an app, so it's Talkspace telehealth. It's a little head with a heart in it. So Talkspace Go, and download the app, and it's free. It's not $100,000, but it's free for you. You know, just keyword restore. But you know, we just email us if you need any help signing up. So it's a big shout out to Talkspace Network LLC.
Would you like to say anything about Talkspace?
Yeah, we could talk about Talkspace. So, Talkspace, we reached an agreement with them 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So that was our initial touch to them because we wanted, you know, a counseling service. However, we know the lack of transportation has always been an issue for all of our communities because, you know, you're driving like 2 hours from some of these places. And so we chose a virtual option. It was cheaper in the long run, actually, compared to a regular counselor, like if we hired one. And so whenever our TOR grant ran out, Talkspace was on the line. Like we were like, all right, we got to do something. So I pushed a resolution to the legislators for a 3-year agreement, and it went through 100%. Like all the legislators supported it. And so this is providing, you know, counseling services for 1,000 of our tribal members, tribal employees, casino employees, all that are 13 and up. So that way we can, you know, reach tribal members that may not have a counseling option because of their location or because they don't want to go in person or anything like that. And so that's why we did do a big push for Talkspace. And so now we're trying to do a push for, you know, signing people up, walking them through it because they get, you know, 2 video sessions with a counselor a month. They get to message their counselor anytime. Talkspace Go is now a self-guided app to where you can journal, you can attend these virtual classes. You can do just a lot with, you know, self-guided so that way you're not kind of pressured into face-to-face talking. So it's more relaxing, more laid back, more self-discovery. And so that's one way that we're trying to improve mental health, you know, with our communities, ages 13 and up. But yeah, so that's what Talkspace is in short. Yeah, it's free from, you know, our agreement with it. So that way, if you do log in and, you know, make your own account, make sure you come to us first. So that way you're not, you know, getting charged for that stuff because we've had that happen. But, you know, we usually resolve it by having them, you know, work with our people. That way they can, you know, get better.
Yep. Find the help you need.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you would like to add on to the Talkspace talk? Nothing? Nothing?
We all utilize it.
Yes, we all do.
Yeah. Yep. But we can talk on, you know, harm reduction. I mean, harm reduction's our thing. Some people don't like it. Some people love it. You know, we love it, honestly. So we are, you know, pushing, you know, we're trailblazers, I would say, in Western Oklahoma with harm reduction. So with our partnership with Shred, which is a mobile harm reduction organization sponsored by Drew Cook is the one that started it. He's reversed, I think, 1,000 overdoses at least, just from his harm reduction efforts. And so what we do on behalf of that company, that nonprofit, is, you know, we're like their volunteers. We do distribute our harm reduction supplies under their name and everything like that. So all that data goes to them. All the supplies comes from them. So that's where it's huge for us is because, you know, Western Oklahoma has no resources except for us. And so that's what kind of how we get in the door with a lot of these organizations is we're like, hey, this is like an underserved area. Would you guys like send us some supplies? We'll send you whatever data you need. Usually it's all anonymous stuff. It's just zip codes is mainly what they want. So that's how we get, you know, these millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff that we're giving out. Plan Bs, like nobody would have thought an organization would be giving out Plan Bs, but here we are, you know, 1,000 Plan Bs already given away in a couple months. But so with Shred, it is sterile needles, so that's where people start feeling gross about it, right? Yeah. They think it's enabling. However, as Barry said, like you're going to do what you're going to do to get the supplies, to get the substance. The supplies is an afterthought. It's whatever you got around you is whatever you're going to use, whether it's a phone charger as a tourniquet, a dirty needle that you're borrowing or that you found on the sidewalk, which we've heard. And so that's why we try to provide these clean supplies is because we're trying to reach the people that are actually in need. And so that's us going to them, letting them know that, hey, we care about you. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, we're here for you, whatever you need. Try not to, you know, share needles so you don't get HIV, hepatitis, a bunch of other stuff, infections. And so so that's what we do on, the needle front. Completely legal. like that's the big thing is like everybody's like, are you sure that's legal? They're like, yeah, like
Yes.
it's legal by the state. Like there's like a big push for harm reduction. There's actually like, grants. We get a grant for it. Lately we've been getting friction from our own tribal entities. So we are fighting the good fight to keep this service alive.
We didn't get arrested yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're still out here. Like all of our stuff's just on pause. But, we will, do our best to keep this service alive, to keep our people alive. And that's the important part is people don't see the big picture. They do see just the tiny little thing that they want to have tunnel vision on to say that they don't like, even though, this is what's saving lives. And like, actually, ever since we've gotten this friction, we've actually heard that there's rises in infections already in the communities that we've been serving. And so that's why we're hoping, that we can open some eyes, hopefully, and, fight the good fight still.
Let them listen with their heart.
Yep. Yeah. Tell them close their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be still.
Yep. Be still. But yeah, that's harm reduction, or a portion of harm reduction, I should say.
Yeah.
Very small portion, but
huge.
Yeah.
In what we're trying to do.
No, it's courageous what you guys are doing, because I know there's got to be some backlash from a lot of different areas, but I think to some degree they should leave it in the hands of the people that are going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an opinion, but like, will you act on it? Like, no. So we've got some people in the trenches that are willing to do what it takes to offer something. Leave them be.
Yeah. You would think.
Stay in your lane.
If this is just part of the process that we have to go through, to help people understand better about why it's so important. I think that's just as important as actually being able to do it. Because like I say, addiction, it doesn't care who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where you're going. It can take your life. And given the opportunity, that we have, I think we're ready to take a stand on that. Got to stand for something, but you'll fall for anything. Is what I was always taught. So.
Yeah.
You
Just-
falling for a lot of stuff, though.
I mean,
Yeah, a lot. But I got back up, and I'm here, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, and just glad that we get this platform, glad we get to speak on these things, because, somebody was asking me for clean needles the other day, and it's just kind of like, I know you really need them, but listen, you might be able to go to, Walgreens and see if they'll sell you and they're like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
Amazon.
they're like, like this person, they're not.
Yeah.
And, it's unfortunate, that you would think that a person would take their health that serious, but whenever you got these substances in your life and in your body and it's controlling your every move,
Man.
these thoughts they don't run across your mind. It's like, I need these things now. And if you're not going to give them to me, then believe me, I will find a way to do this.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, that people don't understand why it's so important, but at the same time, maybe that's our opportunity to educate them, to show them why, this services is needed, on the state level, I know it's happening nationally, the people that I reached out to about, that situation is, I was told, like, in California, they tried to stop the clean needle exchange. And, hepatitis, just like the numbers went through the roof, as to who was contracting that, or who was all getting that disease, and luckily today there is a pill that they can take today. Got some friends that had to go that route, and I'll be darned if they're healed today. They don't have to worry about them things no more.
Mm-hmm.
So very important that harm reduction, you look at it as a whole, not just Narcan.
Mm-hmm.
With the fentanyl, they're mixing it with the horse tranquilizer, and people are getting their limbs cut off from having to reuse needles. What is it called, necrosis, or that's a sad deal. People having their limbs removed because of the infections, and having to reuse needles and share needles. I mean, they're gonna do it regardless if we give them needles or not. But just given the opportunity to be able to help them out, let them know, that somebody does care about them. I think that's a very important part of trying to heal our community. So, thanks for speaking about harm reduction.
Harm reduction means saving lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's what it is.
but we'll still be the Harm Reduction League.
Yeah.
I mean, if this, if our, our case goes bad, maybe a new nonprofit will pop up with, the TOR 4.
Yeah.
But,
The TOR 4.
yeah,
The TOR 4.
it'll just be called the Harm Reduction League.
Yeah. 4 seasons.
Yeah. It's a hotel chain.
Oh.
All right. What else we got? Hey, would you like to shout out our clubhouse? I mean, give people
Details.
details
Yeah,
about what goes on at the 506.
Yeah, if you're ready to look for a solution and willing to give it a shot, come to 506 South Barker. We're there at noon every day, but Sunday it's at 1 o'clock, and then on the evenings every day but Wednesday and Sunday we're there at 7 o'clock. There's a new big book study, big book sponsorship meeting that meets at 6:45 on Wednesday nights, and so hopefully you get a chance. You can come see us, and just hang out. And we're not going to make you do anything, but it's a safe place where you can find people that are like-minded, and we can offer you the fellowship, and attack that loneliness first, and then start talking about some things you can do to truly be free. And when I say free, I don't mean waking up every morning clawing the walls, hoping like heck that that thought to use doesn't come, and the obsession takes over, and then you got to go on a mission. We're talking about there is a way for a person to be free of this and to walk around this planet like any other free man, one day at a time for the rest of your life. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some focus, but it doesn't take near the effort it takes to stay high.
For sure.
I've been there, bro. That's work.
But thank you, Shane. That's my home group over there, and I got a lot of love for all the people in that room, in that build or in that house. They really made things a little bit easier. Whenever I started going, I've been going to that clubhouse since I was like 5 years old. My dad went.
Mm-hmm.
Same house. And little did I know at the time, I used to be so embarrassed to go because my dad would be, buzzed up. We would go and he would get like 3 donuts and like a whole rack of cookies and go sit down and just be back there. Crumbs all over, licking his fingers,
Okay.
But I was, in a way, I was kind of glad that he was there because I knew he needed help.
Yeah, whatever it takes, huh?
You know, and that was embarrassing, but I was happy we were there.
Yeah.
And I remember just meeting different people there whenever I was a kid. I remember this guy showed me his Super Bowl ring. A guy there had a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
Whenever I was a kid.
Dang.
I remember, I don't remember who but I remember my dad was like, "Can you show him your Super Bowl ring?" You know, when the guy had on a Super Bowl ring. While we were, you know, he was an old man, but I was a little bitty guy, so I don't remember like much of the details. But I just remember looking at it thinking like, wow, like this is, you know, it showed me that all walks of life were there. You know, everybody comes together and they have a common problem.
Right.
And there is a solution. So I haven't been shouting out to 506 like I should have been, you know, because I'm still kind of like wondering if I should ever say, hey, you know. But at the same time, you know, I listened to this other podcast, and they said it like at least 100 times on there.
Yeah, almost as much as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Have a counter. Yeah.
Yeah, as much as I said, you know. But it was pretty awesome, you know, pretty awesome experience to find a group of people that have the same problem that I have and can help me. You know, like I say, I don't care if you got one day. I want to hear what made you come to that decision that enough was enough and you're ready to change your life. You know, I'm interested in, and I support all roads to recovery. You don't have to come to AA. You know, if you're finding a way to stay sober, you know, I did it on self-will before for like 2.5, 3 years. You know, I did it on self-will. And
How'd it turn out?
Yeah, once that will ran out.
Tell your story about that. I like that story.
It all started because I wanted to take a CBD gummy. That's how it started. I was taking CBD gummies to go to sleep at night because I started getting restless. You know, kind of getting discontent. You know, kind of getting edgy. You know, and I was having trouble sleeping. So I started taking these gummies. First, they were 5 milligram, little bitty things. You know. Within a matter of weeks, I'm eating a 50 milligram CBD.
Chugging.
Eating the big old, like only like 4 come in a package because they're so big.
I hear you.
And I eat it, and I'm like, I think I feel something.
Oh, that's frustrating.
You know, but I'm not sure, but I'm not the same as before I ate it, and it is knocking me straight out. I am going right to sleep. But then that thought, like,
Barry, you could smoke weed.
yeah, that's exactly what came to mind. Like, I think it's time.
You've grown out of the other.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Yeah,
They say you're healed after 2
It's
years.
2 year warranty.
Tricky.
Yeah.
Man, we need to try. You know, let's try smoking. Let's just try smoking.
That little voice.
You know.
That other one.
And I'm the type of addict that if you give me an inch, I'm going to take it a mile.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't just smoke a joint and call it cool. Nah, within a month, I got like dabs and, you know, I'm, you know, like all the hardcore, like one hitter quitter type stuff, you know, like.
Moon rocks.
Yeah, moon rocks.
Yeah.
I take everything to the extreme, not just a couple tokes, and I'm like $100 a week, you know, just on, you know,
Excuse me. Pardon me.
just on just stupid stuff, you know, moon rocks. I think they were $20 for like a little bitty. I'm buying 2 or 3 a week, you know. I mean, just all these different ways to smoke weed. I couldn't just handle it. And then my niece had a wedding. Was kind of having turmoil in my relationship at the time. Things were slowly falling apart around me. And one day, I get in the car with two of my cousins. And we're going from point A to point B, like from like the football field in El Reno to like Jinx Simmons. Just that far away. You know, that close. And they busted out a pipe and started smoking. And without even thinking, they just turned around and handed it to me. And without me even thinking, I just grabbed it and never missed a step.
Right back.
Right back to where I was trying not to ever be again.
Yeah.
Same place I thought I would never see again. Well, my niece's wedding came up. And, yeah, I got lit. I was sitting by the bar because that's where everybody was at. It was an open bar. You know, and me and the companion at the time were mad at each other. So we weren't even talking. I seen a drink was sitting in front of her. But I'm not even paying attention if she's drinking it or not. I'm like, oh, so we're drinking now. You know, them codependency issues starting.
Dang.
Oh, so we're drinking now. Okay, well, let me show you how to do this right. People are buying me shots or getting me shots, and they're like putting them on the side of this little napkin dispenser. And I'm grabbing them when no one's looking. I'm throwing them back. You know, like 3 or 4 shots, and then I'm lit. Like, I ain't drinking like almost 3 years. Well, then the place starts clearing out. Everybody's going to their car. I get to the car, and everybody I came with, they had already left. I guess it became obvious what I was in there doing. You know, and I go on to the bar that everybody said they were going to. Nobody showed up.
I should be getting a message.
Yeah.
But no.
I'm like, oh, maybe there's another party, you know. The real party was going on, so I show up over there. Well, actually, my friend was like, I know where they're really at. Let me drive over there. So we drive over there. I'm sitting on the couch. I start feeling sick, so I'm just going to lay down for a little bit. I wake up the next morning. Nobody's there. It's this chick's house. The car my girlfriend's car is gone. I'm asleep on the couch at this other girl's house. It was all bad, man. And I'm just like, wow, like from CBD, you know? All because I wanted CBD.
I just wanted to
I just
sleep.
wanted to go to sleep. Yeah. I just wanted to go to sleep.
Slippery slope.
Yeah.
Yeah. But see, that's how my sickness works. You know, that's exactly how my sickness works. You give me an inch, I'm going to take it a mile. You know, and thankfully through Shane's help, you know, taking me through these steps and helping me realize, you know, am I listening with my ears or am I listening with my heart? You know,
way to circle back.
yeah. You know, and luckily he was able to speak the language that I understood. And because, you know, you get into the big book and there's some words in there that you definitely got to get nobody, you know, when was this thing wrote? Like in the 30s?
Yeah, so, you know, 1939, they didn't talk like we do right now.
Yeah.
And Bill was like, you know, Bill's an alcoholic too. He's got an ego. So much as he spent his life trying to keep it in check, he tried to write like, it sounds like he was trying to be Shakespeare. So some of it's a little difficult to interpret. You know, you gotta sit down and find the message in there sometimes. he liked to be wordy, and he didn't like to use the same word twice. So he'd say spiritual experience, spiritual awakening, psychic change, and personality change sufficient enough to overcome alcoholism, and they all mean the same thing.
Yeah.
And but God bless him, he was interested in helping the next man get well, you know. And so, you know, I think like the energy you guys, a lot of times we don't know how to help, you know.
Yeah.
But if you sit down with love in your heart, with the focus on trying to be of service to someone, I think God's in the middle of that. And sometimes I don't get to see the results, but I don't think the energy that's put into trying to help somebody is ever in vain.
Yep, that's a good point. You know, very good point. You know, I think a lot of the results that we feel like we wish we could see, you know, we got to hear either secondhand or, you know, every once in a while we'll get a parent that comes up and lets us know, you know, how we helped out their kid or, you know, whatever the situation is, you know. And I mean, everything that we've done, it's when it's come to something like that, it's made it all worth it. You know, made it all worth it. You know, if we can just save that one life, everything we've done, you know, it's made it all worth it. You know, and I think it's something that we, you know, the TOR for. You know, we're gonna continue to do this thing. You know, and we're gonna figure out different ways. We're gonna find a new approach. We're gonna roll with the punches. You know, when somebody comes at us, you know, not even understanding what it is we're really trying to do. You know, I think it just makes us level up a little bit more every time. You know, maybe, you know, the harm reduction thing, maybe it was just a way for us to, you know, definitely step our game up, you know, and I love what I do. You know, like Shane said earlier, this is like my dream job. When I went to rehab, and I already pictured myself, not like sitting here talking my head off at a podcast, but, you know, it was me coming back and being of service to my people. But at the same time, I don't want it to just be our people. You know, like I've been saying, you know, addiction ain't racist. You know, addiction doesn't see the color of anybody's skin. You know, we all have that common thing, you know, is that
it's the great equalizer.
Yeah, definitely the great equalizer.
Doesn't matter your socioeconomic status, race, color, creed, religion, spiritual views, bro. Welcome to baseline human being.
Yeah.
You know, stripped away of all, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what it does. Maybe that's God too.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's what I always say too, is that, you know, I don't feel like things happen to me. Today I feel like they happen for me. You know, had anything been any different, I don't think I'd be sitting here right now. You know, if I didn't go through what I had to go through. You know, I don't even think I would even have the thought in my mind occur, you know, that something was wrong, because I got so used to living that life a certain way, you know, my pride and ego ran the show, you know, fear definitely, you know, was right in there, right along with it, you know. I can't even tell the difference between any of it anymore. You know, all I knew was I had to have a drink and I had to get high, you know. So, the TOR 4. Huh?
TOR 4.
Yeah,
So
when we
you-
hire new people, it's going to be TOR 4 plus 1, TOR 4 plus 2.
So you're telling me pride and ego isn't around anymore?
Yeah.
Not like it used to.
Okay.
Oh.
Nah, nothing. My pride and ego is deadly. My pride and ego want me dead, for real.
Hey, Hawk. I feel like Forrest Gump on 16 Dr. Pepper. I gotta pee.
You can get up.
It's just a kid asking
Yeah,
Yeah,
too
for
many
for
Dr.
permission
Peppers.
slip, a
He's
hall
like
pass.
raising his hand.
Yeah, I gotta go.
But when I was sitting there and you were talking about all harm reduction and stuff, and like, there's a lot of people that come at us like, well, where's the data? And a lot of the stuff that we do, it doesn't have data points.
Hidden data.
You go and talk, and there's 3 or 4 people that are influenced by how you say something.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't someone. Me and Domingo aren't there. Oh, were you influenced by Barry today?
Yeah.
Thanks. Did you have a bad experience with Barry today? It's just like, that's not stuff that we do, and of course, we can tell people like, okay, we hand out 500 Narcan at this location or whatever, and we try our best to try to find out whether or not it's reversed any overdoses or anything. But this is a community where people don't like giving information, and it's a community where people don't like talking, and people don't like being around people.
Yeah.
And so it's hard sometimes, and for us to try to sometimes it's hard for people to understand that we can't like legitimize every single thing that we're doing. All we can do is prove that, hey, we helped save that guy's life that was at the Ice Cube concert. Hey, we helped save a kid's life over here that was that OD'd one day. And these are points and things that and we have people that follow us and people that say something, that show their appreciation all the time. And it's like, that's all we have to just keep on doing it, because that's what we do. That's what the TOR does. And it's sometimes it's hard because we're trying to do more by getting more out into the community, especially with like the Gourd Clan and stuff. And like, how many people came up to us while we were there and said how much they appreciated us, how much they liked for us doing what we were doing. And they showed like families would come to show much appreciation because their kids are able to see people doing this, and that they're able to get out of the life that they were in and things like that. And to see like it's a different aura when you're around the circle, because you have a lot of respect for people that are there. And for the elders that are around there to say something to you is, it's kind of a big deal. And we had that happen a lot, and I thought it was a good thing for us. So I hope that was picked up on the mic.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Domingo's
heard it way over
stomach
here.
is
almost
just really
lunchtime.
Make sure
Yeah,
you try to-
yeah.
Yeah. That was a lot.
Yeah, his stomach was doing
Man, I'm trying to talk
it.
serious.
I know. It had to be during the elder
It's like
section
just
too.
had to
He was
happen.
backing you up.
I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to talk anymore. I'm done. Anyways, you have
Yeah,
anything to
it
say,
didn't-
Barry?
Yeah. I thought it was gonna stop. It just kept going. Sounded like a car
That's
just
hilarious.
slowly trying to turn on.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Anyway.
Well, I think that should tell. That's a good sign that maybe we should wrap this up. Does anybody got anything else they would like to share?
No.
We can ask Domingo's stomach. Yeah, just put the mic down all the way.
Your stomach got anything else to say?
That was it.
As always, like, share, comment, send us
Follow.
questions.
Follow,
If there's
yeah.
something you want us to talk about, maybe in our next podcast.
Yeah.
Reach out to us. Let us know. I'll say, because as you can tell, if we don't have a topic, we just kind of go and let our stomachs talk for us.
No, you're right.
Okay, we're done.
Well, once again, we would like to shout out Irene.
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 Irene, Janet
Janet
Bullcoming,
Bullcoming,
Malcolm.
Malcolm Whiteberg the third.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They
You know, thank you for helping us out with our blankets, our sash,
Beaded
and our
gourds.
Beaded gourds. Those were a huge part of our Rezcovery gourd clan.
And Mother Ginger
Yeah.
White Man.
Oh,
yeah.
Ginger,
Oh my.
of
Yeah.
course.
Everybody was complimenting the shirts.
Yes,
Yeah.
everybody
Shirts.
loved the shirts. You know, thank you, Ginger. That was such an amazing job. You know, very appreciative for, you know, these people coming together to help us out. You know, just want to say thank you, and we appreciate your effort, and we will wear everything with pride. You know, I've never had that much
Yeah.
Yeah.
regalia for gourd dancing. You know,
I know,
I
we're-
had to buy me a box.
yeah, I did too. We were like, does the sash go over here? Over here? I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
yeah,
Is the
we're-
bandolier seatbelt?
we're figuring this thing out, but you know, it's just part of it. You know, it's just part of the process. You know, so hopefully we can get dressed without having to correct each other next time. You know, but you know, I felt like, you know, I was really in the game. You know, with everything that I had on, and you know, I was very appreciative of all these people coming together and helping out the Rezcovery, All Nations Rezcovery Gourd Clan. So just want to say thank you, Shane, for coming
He's
on.
right there.
Shane,
He came back
thank
from
you.
his
He's over there
Appreciate
in the
bathroom
dark.
break.
Appreciate you, bro. Shine Arapaho Productions, thank you again for letting us come in here and do our thing. You know, I think we're getting a little bit more comfortable, you know, whereas before it kind of felt mechanical. You know, now we're able to let our stomach speak for us.
Yeah, it's authentic.
Yeah. But I guess we're gonna wrap it up now. So thank you
Yeah.
for tuning in.
What are we
Oh.
put-
Hopefully-
what are we saying?
Tour 4.
Tour 4.
Tour 4.
Oh,
Oh.
hooray.
But thank you, and
The next one. See you at the next one.
see you at the next one. Aho.
Oh.
Mhm.